Well, our moms think we're funny.
Please be advised, this episode contains flagrant use of the N-word from our special guest. But he's black, so it's okay. If this offends you, please skip this episode and join us next week for a brand new attempt at humor. Or get over yourself and stop being such a n***. Thank you. KorovaEntertainment Management.
Alright, I guess we should do some kind of introduction here.
Alright, so, welcome to the first episode of Our Moms Think We're Funny. This is Jarrell, aka Turk182, and I'm here always with my PIC. That's your
PIC?
partner in crime.
Oh, yeah, totally. I don't know, I was thinking of CEO, CFO. I was trying to think of what that equated with. Yeah, I'm Micah, also known as Acomi.
I'm sorry, it would have been better if I sang it. I want to love you, PIC.
I do not know that song.
No, you don't.
Sounds like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, PYT. It was just, I want to know PYT.
No.
Pretty Young Thing. It was the song that Michael Jackson sang about Emmanuel Lewis.
Yeah, no, don't know that one. Sorry. I know a lot of Michael Jackson stuff.
You're just gonna let that go?
Hey, everybody don't know what I'm saying.
Right.
This is Leroy Roscoe here.
I just said that Michael Jackson sang PYT about Emmanuel Lewis.
Hey,
and you're just gonna let that
I don't
go.
know for sure what Mike did in his personal time. Emmanuel was a man. He just looked like a kid.
Yeah, well, no, when they were together, he was a kid.
Was he?
Yeah.
Man, I ain't never checked his ID.
Hey, let me ask you a question, right? Before we get into this whole thing about Infinity War and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I guess we should actually introduce Wally here. I mean,
he just said he was Leroy Roscoe Leroy,
AKA.
And just to warn our viewers, our listeners, sorry, our viewers for the blind, just to warn our viewers that.
Every time you say something that sends you to hell, I'm just like, hell.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing: we've already established I'm going to hell, right? So it's not like I'm going to hell even more. It's like when I'm playing Fallout, right? And I start grabbing items, and it's like, oh no, you're like over your weight capacity, so now you can't run. And I'm like, okay, well I'll dump some stuff, right? And I dump some stuff, and then I dump some more stuff, and I'm still over my weight, right? And I'm like, well, what else can I get rid of? I'm like, shit, I need all this stuff, especially now my armor's all fucked up and I gotta use all this stuff to repair it. And I'm like, well, if I'm already above my weight, then fuck it, I'm gonna grab all that shit back and I'm gonna take all this other shit too that I left behind, right? So that's the thing, right? I'm already going to hell, right?
It's like you already got triple life, so why not kill a few more people?
Hell yeah, I'm just like, shit, I mean, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna make it worth my while, right?
See, I think of it more like the old arcade games, like Donkey Kong. You know, you're gonna die eventually because there's no way to win the game. You just go till you hit the kill screen, but wouldn't you rather, get to the pie factory instead of dying on the first barrel?
I've never made it to the pie factory.
I've made
I
it to
didn't
the pie
know
factory.
there was a pie factory.
Yeah, very few people, I think 5% of all players actually make it to that level.
Because it's not one of those things where, like Pac-Man, you play the first couple rounds of the first screen. Then you play the first couple rounds of the second screen,
right.
Then the third screen. I guess Miss Pac-Man, because Miss Pac-Man is the more superior Pac-Man game.
It's faster.
Hashtag feminism. And so,
Hell.
But with Donkey Kong, you play the first screen, then you go to the second one, then you go back to the first one, then you do the second one, then you go back to the first one again. No, then you go to the third one with the jumping jack thing. So it's the first one, second one, then the third one, right?
It's first, second, first, third, second, first.
You lost me.
Fourth?
I never
it's a weird pattern.
What's the blue stage? The blue.
That's the Girder stage. That's second level.
Okay,
Yes,
that's why. I always get.
Well, I've been studying the world record, guys, and I've been playing it on MAME. Because hey, if it's good enough for Billy Mitchell, it's good enough for me. But
I do love Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, don't we all? But yeah, I've gotten to. I think my personal best is 160k now.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty good for Donkey Kong 1.
So your Donkey Kong 1 is as good as my Donkey Kong 3.
The scoring is very, very different. I mean, you have to clear the Pie Factory before you get in that score range.
If we was talking GTA, I got both of y'all. Right now I got like $2 million in the bank, 2 houses and 3 garages, and about 30 cars.
That's pretty good, because at the end of the day, the damn gorilla still gets the girl with my game. So,
man, I didn't save I don't know how many flowers in that game, but anyway. So I was going to ask my question. My question going back is, in the 80s, right? Why were there so many like diminutive black actors? Like it was almost like they sought them out. So you had like Emmanuel Lewis, you had Gary Coleman, you had Rodney Allen Ripley, right? It was like, were they manufacturing? Were they going around and just like punching like black kids in like the kidneys and everything so they wouldn't grow? And then
Hell.
hell.
you're going to hell.
I asked a question. I didn't make a statement.
Oh, the kidney punch was definitely a shot, no pun intended.
I'm just saying, it was like
You going to Little Caesars.
like a black.
That's going to be your hair. You're going to have to sit at Little Caesars and watch the Pizza Man and eat Little Caesars pizzas delivered by somebody with no thumb. If y'all was around, y'all know what we're talking about. Somebody with kidney issues, in short. And what the hell else did he say earlier?
Well, he made fun of Stephen Hawking.
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't make fun of Stephen Hawking. I just imitated his voice, and you did it too.
I did it too.
My partner in hell.
Man.
That's from now on. You're my PIH. My partner in hell.
Pizza Man. Little Caesar Man gonna talk like Stephen Hawking.
I just did the Microsoft Sam voice. Thank you very much. It's not my fault that it sounds like Stephen Hawking.
Pizza.
See? Hell, it's a beautiful place.
Would you like a cheese pizza?
Hey, Satan, if you listening, know that both Wally and Leroy Roscoe Leroy had nothing to do with these decisions that were made. And some views do not reflect me or the flat earthers. Not that I'm a flat earther. Just wanted to give them a shout out.
Satan.
In case the earth is flat and they decide to kick certain people off.
Satan, I just want to say, right, that while what Leroy Roscoe Leroy, aka Wally, is saying is true, but I think that you could probably have a good case to bring him to hell too on a conspiracy charge.
Conspiracy is hard to beat. This is a conversation we had, and I'd rather not be facing that. Thank you, Satan, and all your minions.
I'm just saying.
Jesus bless you. Watch Jesus and block.
Did you just say Jesus bless Satan?
I mean, they were friends, right? Or at least his daddy was his friend. Hold on, what you reading? God bless you.
I don't really think that's like saying that you were friends with your father. No, it's a father-son relationship. You're never friends. That's like I tell my kids, I'm like, look, I'm your father, but I'll never be your friend. We would never be friends. That's just not how it works.
I feel
Because I'm always going to be your father. Your friends will tell you some bullshit or whatever. Be like, is this a good idea? Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm like, that's not a good idea. No, I'm going to tell you right now, right? That's not a good idea. That's a dumbass idea. Because I'm your father. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to tell you no lies.
Well, am I not? I'm taking the high road. Jesus bless you. Satan. I don't know what that means for being Satan, but at least I attempted it.
Okay. And you know what, though? I will say that out of all the evil things that I've done and all the bad things I've done today and before, anytime I've hung out with Roscoe Leroy Roscoe, that, a.k.a. Wally, that you have never lowered yourself to my level, and it wouldn't be right for you to be taken to hell, right, on a conspiracy charge, whatever, just because of your association with me. Because instead of you succumbing to my evil influence, you're actually trying to raise and elevate me to your stature.
But that
and so
mean...
I ask that on my behalf, you can give me an extra hell if it will keep Leroy Roscoe Leroy, aka Wally, from going to hell. And by that self-sacrifice, I've redeemed myself. Now I'm going to heaven. I watch Constantine. I know how this shit works.
Wait, that means I'm there alone.
Oh, you won't be there for long by yourself. Trust, Jarrell's going to put himself back there within a few minutes of talking.
Give it the end of the podcast here.
It's coming.
I'm going to be stuck down there alone with the deviant arts and the furries. I'll die.
And Stephen Hawking with that buff ass body and that low IQ.
I almost fell for it. I almost said something in the voice.
Because
Myself.
he's gonna be like all jacked like Chris Evans in the first Captain America movie, and he's gonna be like Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder. You got a fine brain, Stephen Hawking. So he goes, you make me happy.
You know what I mean? Make room. Don't give his room away. He's coming back.
Now I'm back in hell.
He's not gonna be gone for long.
All right.
Satan's like, man, I didn't even process the paperwork. I need you back.
No point in even getting the paperwork. Save the ink.
Okay, so we are going to talk today about Infinity War, which I finally saw. And I'm going to say a couple of things, right? So I'm trying not to get too personal. One, we talk about different things or whatever, but we have gotten personal on Korova Game Bar.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that one of the reasons that it took me so long to see Infinity War is actually two reasons. One, super busy, and with my new work schedule, where before I used to work like 5 minutes away from the movie theater.
Yeah.
And so when 5 o'clock came, I was like busting out the window, sliding down my dinosaur tail right into the car, and I was out. Bam! I'm at the theater, right? And sitting in line waiting to get to that opening. But now I work like an hour, almost like 40 minutes away from the movie theater.
Oof.
So it's leave work early to try to get there. But then, of course, you got to get there like an hour and a half early, sit in line and ish like that. So I didn't get a chance to make it opening weekend. And, for me, opening weekend is when all the true fans go there.
Yeah.
Those are the people that shut the fuck up and, like, watch the movie.
Yeah.
After that, you've got some of the fans and everything, repeat performances, stuff like that. Then you get the other people coming in. After the second week, you've got the also-ran movie watchers who aren't really there to watch the movie. So then it's like, I just had to wait, until that time. And then plus, I've been fighting with my depression. And with that, it makes me lose interest in things. If I don't tackle them right away, right, I lose interest in them. And
Right.
so it was one of those things where, because I've been dying to see Infinity from like long. I was like, dude, I can't wait. And I watched that trailer like 5 times when it came out, and I just devoured it, right? And then when the movie finally came out, I was just like, huh, okay. And I was like, yeah, I want to see it. And it was like, and so, you put all those things together. And so, but anyway, I did finally get a chance to see it, and I saw it twice. And I was like, all right, now I can talk about it. And I was lucky enough to avoid everything Infinity War related. I avoided it all, which was no easy task.
Oh, yeah, because, like, after opening weekend, spoilers were all over Facebook.
Shit, I didn't even want to open my milk because I was afraid of spoilers. All right, so everyone here seen Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I think I saw it not opening weekend, but the weekend after.
So opening salvo goes to who?
It's been like a month and a half now since I've seen it.
Okay.
Something like that. It's been a little while, so I don't know if I'd be able to hit on every point as if I'd just seen it fresh. So I really liked it. I've heard like 1 or 2 people kind of react negatively to it, but they're the kind of people who react negatively to pretty much everything.
Okay.
Like we've all come across people like that. They're the same people who try to tell us that Jared Leto's a bad Joker and all that stuff.
Like your boy Adam. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Adam. Mr. Hail Hydra. Right?
So the story behind that is he found Turk at Heroes Con and proceeded to just argue every point that Turk brought up about DC movies, and it was actually kind of hilarious to watch because.
And then he had the nerve to bring up eugenics.
Yeah,
right.
then it somehow degraded into a conversation about eugenics, and I didn't even know how it happened.
Right. And I was like, dude, eugenics, it does not work. It's flawed. And he's like, no, it works. You just have to keep on doing it, I'm like, that's not eugenics, that's evolution. I was like, it doesn't work like that. And he was like, no. And he was like, DC movies are trash, Hail Hydra. So he hit me up on your boy, he's all about Hail Hydra, right? So he hits me up on Facebook with like some like article where it was like the 15 things you have to do to prepare for like a DC movie, right? And so I wrote to him like, no comment. And he replied back, he's like, DC movies are trash. And I replied back, well, that's like just your opinion, man. And it just
So that's what that text was, okay?
yeah.
Yeah, you sent me a screen cap of that. So yeah, so I was really impressed with how they handled bringing in so many characters and all these different movie franchises that they're tying in here with Infinity War. They all had different tones. You know, like Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty much straight up comedy. You know, like something like Doctor Strange was a little bit on the darker side. And
It was tripping balls.
I mean,
pretty much, yeah. Well,
Thor became like not quite Guardians, but wanted to be Guardians.
yeah, Thor was like, it started off pretty heavy and then it moved into kind of a comedy series. I actually really enjoyed Ragnarok.
I will defend Ragnarok because I'll say, if you watch the first Thor movie, it really is this whole fish out of water thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole point of the first Thor movie was him to learn humility.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you know, before he comes to Earth, right, he's like, hey, let's go and fight the Frost Giants. And look at this, isn't this awesome? And that kind of stuff. And then when he comes down to Earth, you know, he's drinking, he's like, this is good, more. And he smashes the glass in the ground.
Smashing the coffee down. That was
But
cool.
he really, his tone didn't really change until, because remember when he's like, Jane, take me out to this place here. You'll see who I am. And it's like, you know, all this kind of stuff. And then when he tries to lift the hammer and he can't, it's like everything changed for him. And then, of course, Loki's like, you know, father's dead and you can't come back and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then we move into, like, Thor the Dark World, which was a little darker tone, but it still played the whole fish out of water.
Mm-hmm.
The Avengers, right? There's a whole thing, it's like, you know, Loki, like, you know, like, kill, blah, blah, blah. He's like, he's adopted. I mean,
Yeah.
he was starting to be more humorous there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they really had to make Thor a more humorous character just because it makes him the lovable jock. And his dynamic in the original comics was, you know, talking in Shakespearean English. It wouldn't have equated with the movies as they stand now.
I mean,
But-
I like that Thor has some humor, but I also like when the balance is there with the more serious elements of Thor's story. And with Ragnarok, I just felt like they were trying so hard to put the humor in certain places at moments where it just didn't hit.
Yeah.
And that's what took me out of it at times. Moments where I would have really felt something emotionally to some degree with Thor was killed because, now we're going to really try to laugh right here. Or, now we're going to really try and do this.
Well, I totally get that.
I will defend Thor in a couple different ways. One is, in the other movies, right, Thor had a supporting cast of people that kind of wrangled him in, right? In this one, he's on his own. And so there's no one to wrangle him in. And even though it is more humor slanted, it's him being Thor, the God of Thunder, and now I'm on my own. And like I think Infinity War touched on that really well when he's like everything he has is gone. So when his dad died, and then Hela destroys his hammer and all that kind of stuff, and he's trying to take it all in stride. But I think a part of him is still thinking, you know, this isn't real, right? Yeah, I saw it happen, but I'm a god, right? This kind of thing doesn't happen to me, right? And so he's kind of in shock. But I'm going to take the scene in Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, when he calls for his umbrella, right? And he's sitting there, he's like, and you just hear smashing stuff. Well, think about all the times he's probably done that on Asgard, and it's just punched through walls and things, right?
Yeah.
And never thought twice about it because I'm Thor, the God of Thunder.
Right.
Loki's the mischief maker, but I cause just as much mischief and havoc, right?
Yeah,
but now we get to see it in more of a real life context where he's doing this, and it's like, you're not really understanding what you're doing here, are you? You know?
I mean, that moment worked, but there were just there was quite a few others, even with Kate Blanchett. That's who played.
Yeah.
Even
She looks so hot in that movie.
she did, but there were moments where like the humor they tried to give her
Yes.
just didn't work. Like
that was the thing for me. I loved the humor with Thor. I think Thor's a great comedy character, but it felt so inappropriate coming from the villains.
in the way that it came. Like if it had been Loki, it would work.
Well, yeah, because Loki's the god of mischief.
Right,
He's got that kind of charisma, but coming from her and her character, it felt so out of place to me.
And in the moments that they chose to try to implement,
it removed a lot of gravity.
You didn't take her as being more cocky than anything else. Like she took out his eye, she's like, "Now you look like him," you know.
Yeah, but some of those moments work better than others. Like, and I don't even know that was humor or just the arrogance of a villain in some of those moments.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference.
No, there's one where she like, it's been a while since I've seen this because I saw this in theaters too. But like she has a little miscommunication with one of her henchmen, and she has to like repeat herself several times and like rephrase it, and they're trying to play it for humor, and it just felt so inappropriate because it's like, here I am talking about the next phase of my evil plan, and then here I am.
It felt like a lot of forced moments.
Very.
We could have did without him, and it probably, for me, it would have made the movie better. It would have elevated the movie better. And even in the moments of his father leaving, I'm not saying they had to do the Amazing Spider-Man where he sits at the grave for 3 years, but it just didn't feel like there was even a second of Thor, even dealing with being in shock. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like
I don't really think he had a chance to though.
But that's my point. They could have gave that. They could have gave a second. They could have found a moment. They could have killed some of the whack humor and gave that moment. And for me, seeing a hero at these low points makes them more heroic when they can come back and find their way back. Then let's just skip over it. Now it's like, okay, I'm invulnerable to everything, and it's like, nah, that's not in reality.
Well, I think for me, and we're getting way off Infinity War, but I think for me, it's the everything happens just boom, 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 and he's never really given a chance to, because everything's happening right after, like, bang, 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 right? But we do get that moment in Infinity War, because then he has a chance to like stop and say he doesn't have. I mean, they're going after Thanos, but he has that moment where he can say, okay, now I can take all this in, and it's like, it's heavy, you know?
Yeah.
And like I said before, also though, being a god of thunder and all this kind of stuff, he's a god and then king, and it's like, this kind of stuff doesn't happen. I always win. I've got Mjolnir. I've got this, you know, and it's like I said, it's like it's not real to him because I'm a god, you know. Right. These kind of things really don't happen. Yes, we have trouble, but we save the day. I always save the day because, again, I'm a god. But anyway, don't forget. I think what we need to remember that the name of the movie is not Thor Ragnarok. It's New Doug Ragnarok. New Doug Ragnarok. That's the actual name of the movie. And I think everybody just loves Korg. And it's like, so long then, New Doug. You know. And then of course that little slight nod to Beta Ray Bill, just
don't blink or you'll miss it.
Yeah, it made my balls tingle.
Pause.
No.
Go. No, pause his comment. But yeah, you go back to what you were saying about Infinity.
Oh no! I was just thinking how much I wish Frog Thor had been in there. But
now, is it true that if they do another Thor movie, that Beta Ray Bill's going to be in it, and he's going to be played by Sarah Jessica Parker?
Oh, jeez, dude.
It was something about like a makeup thing. They could save so much in the budget. That's what I heard. I don't know. Is that true?
Hell.
Complete hell and no comment.
Poor Sarah Jessica Parker.
Poor Sarah Jessica Parker.
So, but yeah. So I mean, that was like my overall impression of it was that I was really impressed at how well balanced the scripting was for Infinity War, because they were able to, you know, it didn't have that comedy imbalance that Ragnarok had. They managed to give equal screen time to all the characters. They made everybody look pretty much equally awesome.
Well, the key characters.
All the key characters, yeah. Except for Star-Lord, they made him look like a total prick. But
well, okay, so I wouldn't say that Star-Lord came across as a prick. He did come across as very insecure, right?
Well, I'm not even talking about that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that
made me like.
You talking about this thing with scenes with Stark? Right?
I'm talking about when they almost had the gauntlet off of Thanos and he broke him out of the trance. I mean,
okay, so I think how it should have ended like
I
really.
haven't seen how it should have ended for
Oh
this.
well, they're trying to do that. He's like thing, and like Stark says, "Is there anyone that's not trying to stop Thanos right now, capable of like shutting him up?" And then Nebula comes up behind, like knocks him in the head or whatever. He's like, "Thanks," because she is just standing there the whole time, right?
Yeah,
and not doing anything.
I will say I didn't care for how they. Well, I understood the marketing of using Wakanda to try to bring the Black Panther audience in. I totally understood what was happening there, but the whole Wakanda scene, other than Thor's arrival, like a lot of it was just like we didn't even. You could have just took these characters off the screen, like Black Panther, the Dora Milaje, even the fact that Cap, Black Widow, and I forgot who else they had with them when they went and saved Vision the first time, could handle Thanos' squad with damn near ease, and then you get
It was Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight, which I think is like the coolest ass name, Proxima Midnight. That name is just awesome as shit.
But they got their ass handed to them
Yeah.
against them, and then they get to Wakanda, and they're going against Black Widow and the leader of the Dora Milaje, and it's like they stood no chance all of a sudden. Like I didn't get that change of dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, I know we got to show that they're not gonna win, but it was like y'all really getting y'all ass kicked right here. Like, but why? You know what I'm saying? Like if that's the case, don't even show me the. I thought I was gonna see one of the illest team ups with two people who had a beef prior coming together and like just being dope on screen, and it was like, oh shit. And then Black Panther was like Pink Panther. Like he really, you know, seeing him and Cap standing there was cool.
No, okay. I'm gonna tell you the coolest ass scene in that movie, right? In that fight scene, was when they open up the gate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the creatures start running in, and they're like, oh, and they start off running, and everyone's running, and you get that scene where Cap starts pulling ahead of the pack, and then Black Panther starts pulling ahead of the pack, and the two of them are. I was like, that is so awesome because one thing about this movie is that they paid such close attention to detail, right? With scenes like that, where it's like they're both incredibly fast, and they just pull ahead of everybody, and it's like that's the shit right there.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah, that was great. I mean, in Thanos, they did so much justice to Thanos, which I was worried about.
I mean, Homer Simpson in purple?
Yeah, Homer Simpson in
purple. He was dope, though. He was dope. But I just couldn't stop thinking about how much he looked like Homer without his helmet.
I wish that he'd kept the helmet on, because he did in the comic.
I don't know if it was a budget thing. I don't know if it was... Well, people say it was to show that he was confident once he started getting the stones and he didn't feel like he needed armor. But I still thought that was kind of whack. Like, he's just dope visually with his armor on.
Yeah, the helmet is so iconic now.
Now the shoulder pad, that armor thing, that looks so nice on him.
Oh yeah, it does. But I mean, like, they had me hooked with Thanos right from the very beginning because there's that scene with him fighting the Hulk.
Yeah, he definitely kicked it.
Yeah, he's using those like old timey fisticuff boxing moves. I fucking loved it. It was so cool.
Which I think was the point to set the record real quick that with or without Thanos is a problem.
Yeah.
Right? So let's go ahead and dismantle the Hulk real quick.
Okay. So we mentioned the Hulk, right? And I gotta bring in. Banner keeps trying to bring the Hulk out. Hulk won't come out.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Well, the Russo brothers were saying it definitely wasn't fear, which is what a lot of people took from him getting beat in that fight.
See, that's what I think it was. I think that the Hulk being the biggest, baddest, the toughest, and just coming off of Sakaar, right, where he's just kicking ass, and he steps up there, and not only does Thanos beat him, but he beats him in like no time. He lets him punch him around for a little bit, and he's like, then he pulls like a complete, like, you know, like Usual Suspects. Now I'm going to show this man of Will what Will really is, and he just takes him down, you know. And it's like in no time, like once he punched Hulk in the throat, and then like it's like another two hits, and he's down. Yeah, and Hulk doesn't move after that. And I think that Hulk, when he was like, because he's like, come out, he's like, no, and he won't come out. And it's like, I think he was straight up. He wasn't like afraid as in like, oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna die. He was like, it was more of like a he'd been beaten. And he was like embarrassed.
He was embarrassed. Yeah. That's what I felt, and I felt like it would make the most sense because he hadn't faced anything like that. Because the first question I said when the Russo brothers said no, that's not it was, well, if that's not it, then why did he even turn into the Hulk in the first place? Why did he even become Hulk leading into that moment if it had nothing to do with fear? He just didn't like Banner and didn't want to be out no more. Like, he could have changed back at any time a long time ago, but not until the ass whooping came did he decide, well, you know what, I'm just not coming back out.
Now, the other thing is, well, I'm gonna say two other things, right? And now I'll let you go, Micah.
Yeah, no problem.
Is in the original trailer for Infinity War, when they show that scene when they're all running together as a big group, right? Huh?
All marketing with the Hulk in it.
And the Hulk is in it.
Yeah.
But we know it's not the Hulk. It's he's in Hulkbuster armor.
Mm-hmm.
But in that same trailer, we see the Hulkbuster armor.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have just as well had the Hulkbuster armor in that scene instead of replacing it with the Hulk, right? Because we wouldn't have been asking where's the Hulk, because we know he's going to be in it, right? Because we see Banner in the trailer too.
Yep.
It makes me wonder if it was different. Like he was in the armor, because I thought when they got him pinned on the ground and they start ripping the armor off, he was going to Hulk out, and then boom, there was the Hulk, right?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
But then, so I'm wondering if they changed something, like they have done at the last minute, change some scenes around and stuff like that. Then the other thing is, it could be with the Hulk, he realizes that in order for him to beat Thanos, for him to beat any of them, he can't come at it with brute strength, right? And that the best way for him to do it is it has to be an equal partnership of him and Banner, right? Like, my strength, your mind, but if I give you my strength, I'm not there.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just giving you my strength and you're really in charge. And he's like, and he recognizes that, but he can't commit to it because, again, I'm not there.
Right.
I think that's part of the problem with Hulk not having a movie to actually get into this stuff more, because we just keep getting these pieces, but the pieces aren't clearly connecting with the struggle between the two and what happens in between that time and why this happens over that. Even like with Banner at the end of the first one when he was like, I'm always angry, he just goes straight into so the immediate connection there is, even though it's not supposed to be connected, well, I guess it is but isn't, to Ed Norton's Hulk. You know, when it ended, it was like Norton had control, right? Well, or the feeling that he had control.
I don't think it was that he had control so much as he was starting to come to, because Betty says, because I love that first Incredible Hulk movie, right? Well, you know, the Marvel Incredible Hulk movie, or which is it's Incredible Hulk. The Ang Lee one is just Hulk. It's not even the Hulk, it's just Hulk, right? Is that Betty says, you know, he's like, you know, it's like I can see everything, right? But I just don't have any, you know, I can't affect it. She's like, you know, well, maybe, you know, there's still some piece of you in there and, you know, you can control it. I don't want to control it. I want to get rid of it. But then in the helicopter scene, he says, well, maybe not control it, but aim it, right?
Yeah.
And then you can see like there's more of, Banner's not in control, but you can see there's more of that same Banner in Hulk, because when he saves Betty, which is like one of my favorite scenes, when he saves her from the helicopter, and then in the end when he saves her from the abomination, right? And it's like he starts to realize that we're one and the same, right? And I can't necessarily control him, maybe I don't really want to control him, but if I can bring him out when I need to, then maybe I can make him go away too. And the thing is, he does that thing. He smiles because he's like, I'm actually in control of when I make him come out. As with before, he'd never been in control.
Yeah.
You know, when his pulse race or whatever, he came out. But at that moment, he gives that smirk. It's like, I'm doing this of my own volition.
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Nobody's punching me. Nobody's attacking me.
Yeah. Like he was in a place of balance,
right,
with the situation. But then, as we move forward, like that balance is disrupted again. But we're not getting this clear understanding of why. And I wanted the same thing. They shot certain, which is typical with movies. You shoot certain things, then decide, no, let's reshoot, let's change the script. Or was it just simply, because of licenses and things of that nature, we need the Hulk visible because he's supposed to be on this package, and we agreed to this pay for this on this package and this toy and this yada yada yada. So we got to use them in the marketing. Like, but we'll probably never know exactly what it was unless they add something to the director's cut of the Blu-rays or whatever. But a lot of that I felt like was changes and marketing. Like, we really want to make sure that we sell this whole cast situation. No different than, again, how they use Black Panther. You know, we see the movement, we see what's happening. Mm-hmm. We need to get as many of those people to come over here that maybe weren't checking for certain comic films, Marvel films anyway. So let's make sure we change some of the marketing there. Make sure we play certain things in certain ways. And again, even the dynamic with Black Panther and Cap, every time you saw them placed, there was that structure of, I guess, the similarities between the two in certain ways, and the balance between the two. Because anytime you saw them standing together or talking or whatever, there was a certain respect and a certain angle that they would shoot them from or show them from.
Yeah, because they really are they're kind of equals for their country. They both represent their country. They fight for their country. They live for their country. They die for their country. Right. And so in that way, as T'Challa's the king, and Cap isn't the president, but in some ways his stature is just as high, and people look up to him. I
would say it's higher because he represents the ideals on which America was founded.
So they are
the imaginary idea.
Right.
They are equals in that aspect.
I say that as a committed anarchist. So,
but going back to the Hulk, I think, like you said, we're not getting a full picture. We're getting pieces of a picture, right? When Banner comes back in Ragnarok, right, and he's like, I've been the Hulk for 2 years. And the thing is, the Hulk has been sleeping during that time. And normally when he sleeps, when he calms down, he reverts back, right? Yeah. And he's like, he's shocked by the fact that, and he says, I'm afraid that if I turn to Hulk again, I won't, the banner's going to be gone completely. Yeah. And again, they don't really talk much about it, but I think part of it is that there's that same feeling with the Hulk, is that, if I let you turn back into Banner, maybe I won't ever come back again. Yeah. Because the two of them, which I think Peter David did really well in the Hulk comic book, when you saw that door in his mind where he's like, only one of us can be in charge. And of course, then you had like the Gray Hulk and the Green Hulk both fighting for which one's going to be able to take over the body, right? Right. But they're all the same thing. They're all aspects of the same person. And they don't necessarily like that person, but they refuse to accept the fact that they're all the same person, right? It's like, I'm just another aspect of you. I see myself as being the better half of you, right? But in reality, I'm still just you. I mean, like, even though I say, well, I'm the better half of you because these are all the things, well, it's almost like a Fight Club thing, Like, I'm everything you wish you could be, right? But at the same time, I'm still, I could be that person if I want to be and be everything else. Just a matter of just changing aspects about myself, but not completely creating a whole separate identity to do that with.
I mean, as far as like harkening back to the Marvel comics of the 60s, the Hulk has always been a story about man struggling with his darker nature and making compromises with his darker nature. Because when it's like those first 6 issues, because originally the series only ran 6 issues before it got canceled, Hulk only came out at night. Right. And it was like, okay, well, here's this allotted time where you have no control. And as the series goes on, it becomes all sorts of things, whether it happens under duress, and then I know there's like an arc within the 2nd or 3rd year of the comic where Banner creates a machine that induces the transformation into the Hulk. So that's where you start exploring like the compromise aspect of it, where it's like, well, fine, we'll let this happen, but only when it's my idea, and so it becomes that kind of thing. So it's pretty similar to what they're doing with the movies with that aspect, I think.
And I think it was done really well in the Hulk comic books leading up to issue 300 when he went insane. Which, if you've never read that, Hulk 300, when he goes nuts and beats the shit, dude, when Iron Fist comes at him with the Iron Fist and Hulk catches his fist, right? And it doesn't move the Hulk at all, but because he catches his fist, it shatters every bone in Iron Fist's arm.
Nice.
And then Power Man comes up and he backhands him and knocks him through like 5 skyscrapers, right? And it's like, holy shit. I mean, he picked up a statue, and this is a completely different thing I'll have to come back to later, but he picks up a statue of himself made by Alicia Masters, and I believe it was carved out of adamantium, and he picks it up and his fingers dig into the sides of it.
Nice.
Thor throws his hammer, right, and hits the Hulk, and Hulk actually lifts it up off the ground like an inch because he had gone nuts. And of course, the madder he gets, the stronger he gets. So you want to talk about over 9,000? That's why Doctor Strange had to send him into the crossroads.
Yeah.
But leading up to that, though, he was this kind of Banner Hulk there, and they were showing how he was slowly losing control.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about it is I forget what you call it, that little they used to have on the comic books, the little headshot thing, show the characters there, right, by the number and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a name for that.
box.
Right. Like the 10 issues or so leading up to that, it's almost like a flip book. It's Hulk in like a lab jacket and he's like mixing chemicals, but then the next one is like him slightly like dropping or whatever, and it's a slow like just graduation into him going into full Hulk. And
Awesome.
You also get that in the first Secret Wars where he's starting to lose it. He even says to himself, I'm starting to lose my humanity here and go back into the Savage Hulk, and I just got to hold it together and hope nobody notices, But of course, Reed Richards and them, they pick up on it.
Yeah.
And I think, because Reed picks up on an issue, was it 4, when the Molecule Man drops that mountain on him, right? And, but anyway, I mean, so I think they're kind of putting all that, but because he has so little screen time, they're like, here's a little bit here, 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 and you've got to piece it together. I can do it, you can do it because we know the character, but everyone else is kind of left in the dark, being like, how are we getting from here to here?
Yeah.
Why? And you're really you're forcing people to try to put these pieces together without all the pieces.
Right.
But so we were talking about some of the little things and the little touches in Infinity War, things that I loved, right? So I'm not sure if you noticed in New Doug Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is wearing his cool leather gloves, right?
Right.
He's not wearing them in Infinity War, which something I thought was really awesome is when Doctor Strange and Wong are.
He had one at the end of Doctor Strange too, right? When he sat down to talk to Thor and the
yeah, that's what I meant in that scene.
Yeah.
So Doctor Strange is leaving to go to the deli to get something, right? And then Wong finds money, and Doctor Strange is wearing like this like sweat jacket hoodie.
Yeah.
And then the Hulk comes crashing through the ceiling. He turns and he's in his Doctor Strange outfit. It's just on him.
Yeah.
And then the cape comes out of nowhere and gets on him, right? When you see him, Doctor Strange, later on when he's casting spells and stuff, right? He actually has scars on his fingers from the surgery.
Nice.
So if you see it, he's got these long scars that run along his fingers from the hand surgery and stuff, which I thought was kind of awesome.
That's amazing. I did not notice that.
And like I said, just to talk about the little touches. And in Infinity War, of course, obviously, spoilers are going to be abound in this thing because we've already been talking about it. But
Infinity War warning on screen before
there's no
posting this.
Oh well, yeah. Well, I figured if we, but when Spider-Man dies, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, and he grabs Stark. He's like, yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to go, Mr. Stark. I don't want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tony's just sitting there in complete shock. What I love about that is if you go back to Homecoming, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Iron Man saves the Staten Island ferry and tells him he wants the suit back, right?
Yeah.
And he says, you know what? He goes, what if I hadn't shown up there, right? And he goes, all those people on that boat would have died. That would have been on you, right?
Yeah.
And if you die, that would be on me. And I don't want that on my conscience.
Yeah.
And then
connection.
And then in Infinity War, he tells him to leave. He doesn't leave. He comes back, and then he dies. And that's on because he knights him. He goes, "You're an Avenger now, kid," right?
Yep.
And he dies in his arms. That's on his conscience. What he said in Homecoming, I didn't want, and he's stuck there, just looking dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Like this is exactly what I tried to prevent.
And
that's true, but And I'm sure Tony will, mentally deal with that. But on the flip side,
Yeah, but I thought
if Spider was gonna die, he was probably gonna If the Spider was gonna die, he was gonna die. Like him dying had nothing to do with him being with Tony. It had everything to do with, I guess, the Gauntlet's choices.
Yeah,
and who
yeah.
left and who didn't.
Well,
Right,
the Gauntlet
but-
is indiscriminate in its choices.
Right.
But the fact that he did it in his arms.
Oh yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's why I say Tony's definitely gonna have to mentally deal with it, and that might even be how they take him into the drinking and close him. I don't know, but
What I love about that scene is the fact that Spider-Man knows that he's going way before anybody else knows that they're going.
Because the spider
Because of the spider sense. And so he starts freaking out before he starts disintegrating or any of that. I fucking loved that.
You know, to me, now some people say that Peter Parker's death, the Spider-Man's death, was the worst death out of them all, right?
It's pretty heartrending.
You know, for me, who the worst death was?
Groot.
Nope.
Really? Groot killed me.
Falcon.
Falcon, oh.
Because nobody sees him die.
Yeah.
War Machine is looking for him. He's like, Rhodey. I mean, that Rhodey's like, Sam, where are you? And he's there dissipating in front of him, but he doesn't see him because he's looking up, and he dies without anybody seeing him. They don't even know he's gone. I mean, obviously, going to do a head count later.
Old girl from the door Mirage when she's trying to find T'Challa too.
No, she sees him. Somebody sees him go,
I don't think she saw him though.
but somebody at least saw him go, right?
But I'm just saying the feeling.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like she just watched her. Oh, did she see it?
I think she
Maybe
saw
she
him.
did because she just watched her king,
Yeah.
and that's what she lives for, her country, her king.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which is a great scene in Black Panther when she's like, come on, let's go. She's like, I serve the throne
Right.
in Wakanda, and I was like, that to me, because it'd been so easy to be like, yes, let's go. I don't agree with this. She's like, I may not agree with him, but this is my place.
right.
I love the way they grounded her character there, and I did not know that was Michonne,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, that's tight.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that was Michonne. That's cool.
So Sam's death to me was like the roughest, because I was like, nobody saw him go. He had no one there to comfort him as he died.
All them niggas dying was funny to me.
It's funny.
Because I knew they was gonna die. Like, ain't no need of me being attached to it. Like, die, nigga, die. We can get to the second one. Captain Marvel's coming. We finna fight. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Hey, Micah,
yeah.
guess what?
What?
We're all going to hell together.
Yeah!
I'm talking about fictional people dying.
No.
You talking about real people dying.
No.
Total different.
No. Not only that, but you were like, die, ninja, die. And I'm like,
Hey.
that was you.
I was
Leroy
waiting
Roscoe,
for the snap.
Leroy.
I would have snapped a long time ago. Just tried it. Can they die now? Shit, need one more stone. Can they die now? I wouldn't even been fighting cat. Nigga, I'm about to kill everybody, bro. Like, the fuck is you here for? Leave.
The head. Oh,
Die.
so-
I would have did like this. Hold up, cat. Hold up. Let me show you something. Ah, nigga. Oh, your people gone. Who you gonna say now, nigga? What that shield gonna do about this? Woo!
Can you shit block this? So, I mean, like, those...
Tony, what gadget you got for this, nigga? Woo, your man dead. You didn't see him, did you? Gone. I'd have snapped 3 times. Nigga. Sorry, I just had to express. I was rooting for the snap. I was sitting there watching my watch like, man, this nigga don't snap.
Taking 2
Why is
hours
you
to get
fighting
to
with
this.
these cats, nigga? Wait, Steve, sit your ass down. Watch this. Wakanda forever. Not no more. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would have been on if I was staying up.
Okay. Here's the
I just killed my daughter, nigga, my stepdaughter. She dead, nigga. Oh, I care about nothing.
Okay, well,
Balance is here.
Two things. One, he could have been like, you didn't see that? Let me bring him back. You see it? Now you see it?
Like the way Thanos handle Vision. No, nigga, you ain't gone. Come back. Now die. That was dope.
That was,
That was Debo.
I can see.
Look
I
at
can
that chain,
see him. I can see him.
What chain? Let me get that stone, nigga. What stone? I'm dead. No, you're not.
I can
And I'm gonna let your babe watch me bring you back. I'm gonna kick your ass in front of your babe, nigga, and kill you again.
and then kill her too.
And then kill her.
So messed up.
It's like that was all pointless. All right, so
Y'all did all that. I just been like, listen, bitch. I don't know what you did. You know I got these stones, baby. You know I got these stones, and I'm getting that nigga stone. Come back, nigga.
All right, so I can see Wally like with the Infinity Gauntlet and everything, like pulling up the pillar from Golden Child, and like why she got like come and go, I want you to die, please.
Just do like the multi-snap stuff.
Well, I'd have been practicing my snap years before I even got the gauntlet. Like, I'm gonna try to snap like this. Hey, evil niggas, come check this out. How should I snap? Like, or should it be more like, or should I put my wrist and my waist into it? Like what snap is best? I would have been prepared, especially once I knew I had to kick my daughter off the joint. Oh, nigga, this is gonna be the snap from hell.
Oh yeah.
He would put on like some of that like flamingo music.
I've been messing with him. I'd be like,
Gonna snap.
y'all ain't see the instruction manual? Thor, he ain't tell you it was an instruction manual? When I snap, that's that. Your hammer can't do shit to me. He'd have been Denzel. King Kong ain't got shit on this snap, man.
Wait. What's the name of that band from the 90s that did that song, I Got the Power? What was that? That band was called...
All day.
That would have been tight if Thanos had shown up and like, it's getting, gotta have it. It's like, I got the power.
There would have been no conversation. And some of my mans in there did too.
You can do that in like in Black Infinity War, right?
Black Infinity War.
Just like your Black Star Trek, you do Black Infinity War. If they don't show up and everything,
I was messing with everybody. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet.
All right, and so that's one thing for me. Like all those deaths at the end were really heart wrenching, but what I really would have liked to have seen was him snap his fingers, credits roll, no after credits, nothing.
And I kind of like Sam Jack get it.
That was pretty good.
Did you hear about the Reddit thing?
The Reddit? Oh yeah, where people on Reddit got selected for
so they did this whole thing with like this like Infinity War Reddit, right? And then I think they had it to 300,000 people, and then they locked it so no one else could join, and then they just randomly eliminated half the people in the subreddit. Like the subscribers were just gone. And I was like, that is the coolest shit.
That was pretty rad.
So let me. I may be unclear on this. Would it have been possible that Thanos could have been erased as well?
So I thought about that, right? Because in the end, when he goes to like what looks like the
little place with baby Gamora.
Right, and I'm thinking, so if you read the comic book, right, there's, the soul gem, like, when you die, you go into the soul gem. That's why Adam Warlock and Thanos are connected, is because they both died through the soul gem, and so they, like, Adam Warlock, if you remember in the Infinity Gauntlet comic book, right, he's like, I know everything he's gonna do because we're still connected through the soul gem. So all the stuff with the heroes fighting him, that was all just to keep him from remembering that I know what he's gonna do and all this kind of stuff, right? So now obviously we don't have Adam Warlock because he was in Guardians 2, which I don't know now if he's gonna be in Guardians 3. That's another topic we're not gonna get into right now. But anyway, so I think that he died.
Showed up.
God Doom.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Hell of it.
And so
and he was like, "You should have snapped like this." I don't even snap. I just punch a nigga. Go ahead.
But anyway, so I think he may have gone. He may have died and gone to the Soul Gem, and he's basically in wherever,
like his personal heaven,
right?
Because that's all he really wanted out of that.
That would support the theory of. I think we were talking earlier. I think we was talking about it about they may not actually face a present day Thanos. It may just be all when they're time skipping and trying to stop this from happening that they face Thanos. And that would also explain why they'd have to go and put together a new gauntlet and go through that whole process of sacrificing somebody in the whole nine.
Right. Because you got to do that. But all right. So let's start at the beginning, right? I like how Thanos' show starts off. He's already got, I think, the power gem, right? And he just shows up there on the Asgardian vessel, and he only normally eliminates half a race. And they make a reference to like half of Asgard being gone, or something like that, right? But everybody's on that ship, and then he blows the ship up. So like, all Asgardians dead? I really don't know, but
I don't know, but I assumed. But Pretty much everybody was.
Right? So he destroys that. Thor lives or whatever, and then he gets I think we said the Space Stone, right, from the Tesseract, the Cosmic Cube.
Yeah.
So at this point, he's got 2 stones. You can't beat him. You can't. You cannot beat him. It's really just a matter of time before he gets everything else. Reality, that was the one we couldn't think of the other day. Reality Stone. Once he got the Reality Stone, I mean, that shit was over. What he does to Gamora with the Reality Stone,
All of them so jacked.
that was crazy. But yeah, so it's like you can't. When he has 1 stone, he's got a tremendous amount of power, right? Even before he was Thanos. Then when he gets 2, but by the time he gets that 3rd stone, it is over. I mean, even if you had the other 2 stones, or 3 stones, you try to use them against him, you can't. I mean, it's so. Hey, but so then we get all that stuff, and I love the fact that Peter Dinklage is in the movie, right?
And he's a giant.
And he's a giant, but he's not a giant. He's a giant dwarf.
Right.
Yep.
And I was like, I thought that was kind of awesome that he, they get this little person to play the biggest person
Oh yeah.
in the movie.
It almost made up for his role in Pixels.
Yeah, man. Damn.
Almost.
Thor left him there with his hands like that, man.
But there's nothing he could do.
Man, crack him out or something.
But
just like,
I don't think they were. I mean,
See ya.
those hands were mangled.
Give him some Robitussin or something.
You give him some tussin.
Something.
It's tough.
So, well, I'm assuming by the look of that, he took his hands and dipped them down in
That's what it
hot,
looked like.
molten iron or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you can't break him out. That his hands are just messed up. But dude, that was jacked.
Oh yeah.
That means there's no one to make those weapons anymore.
I love when he goes to sit down, but he can't put his hand down to look. He just kind of falls up against the workbench and then kind of slides to the ground.
Right.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Hail to the Dinklage. That was fantastic. Such a good scene.
And going back to the Thor thing, when he's sitting there talking to Groot, and Groot's like, Rock, and Rock is like, I gotta be captain. And he's like, yeah, my people are dead. And he asked me, he's like, well, what if you fail? And he's like, and Thor has that realization where, like, I think in Ragnarok, he didn't have it. But here he's like, yeah, there's a good possibility that there's no coming back from this.
Yeah.
It's like I thought before that things were kind of rough, but then I beat Hela. I had to sacrifice Asgard, but Asgard is a people, not a place. But now Asgard's gone completely. The place is gone. The people is gone. There is no Asgard anymore. It's just Thor. If it was Thor and Valkyrie, okay, there's still an Asgard. But right now, it's just Thor. There is no Asgard. And I think in that moment, he's just like, it's a real possibility. And I love that thing. He's never fought me. He goes, yeah, he has. And he's like, well, he's never fought me twice. He's like, he's trying to pump himself up. But in reality, he's like, dude, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
If I couldn't beat him when he had 1 stone, I can't beat him when he's got 2.
Right.
Are we working here, my brother?
I apologize. The hose is calling. No disrespect. I have total respect. And I have absolutely no respect.
That was Leroy Roscoe Leroy talking, and not Wally.
Lordy.
So now we have time for a short break.
Oh yeah.
Why is this word used so frequently? So I just don't understand it, and I'm trying to understand it. I need help. Yes, I use nigga. I've used it.
Did you hear when I paused?
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.